Greetings. Welcome to Rogue Dragon Gaming. And I've got something for you here. I got the new updated Player's Handbook. And what we're going to do is we'll take a look at it. Got the Gamekeeper's Guide 2. That's an adventure. It's part of a 3-part series. Shadows of the Red God. Gonna get the other two. Don't have them yet. This is the DM screen, or the Game Master screen. And you can see, got some pretty good art on it. Let's see. What do we have here? Armor, modern armor, traditional armor, and spells. And Amazing Adventures is made by TrollLords. It's compatible with their fantasy game Castles and Crusades. It uses a siege engine where you're using your stats for different skill rolls. Here we have the attributes, which are, the same as for Castles and Crusades or any OSR game. Strength, Dex, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma. In this game, instead of rolling 3 dice 6, you actually you have points and you buy your abilities. So I'm gonna look through these real quick, and then I'll do another video. I've got a fillable character sheet, and I've got this on PDF, and we'll build a character for Amazing Adventures. How about that? So let's see. There's the logo for Amazing Adventures, and gotta adjust my camera stand. The cleaners are in today, and it's been moved. I just realized that. Okay, so now here we are in 2024. And we've completed the Indiegogo campaign for the latest iteration. This time we're doing a major facelift to take it all to the next level. While the companion and manual monsters are no more, their content lives on. You hold in your hands the first of what I call the 3 brothers, the Amazing Adventures Player's Handbook, which combines all the player content from the original core rules and the companion book. Next up is the Chronicle Keeper's Guide, which combines and greatly expands the GM content from the original core and the companion books. Later, we'll follow the new Codex by Storm, which is going to be massive and a whole new take on a monster book. Looking forward to that. That's not out yet. So why the 3 brothers? For years, we've been trying to hammer home that Amazing Adventures is a core canon part of the Castles and Crusades multiverse and rule system. It is in every way a little brother to Castles and Crusades. If then Castles and Crusades is the 3 sisters, it is only appropriate that Amazing Adventures become their 3 brothers. Okay. So, okay, that's much better, I think. Gives me a little more room. Okay. And that should be hanging somewhere so it's not bothering me. So, let's talk about non-human characters. Some genres, such as science fiction and fantasy, may have player characters who are not human. And of course, you can do, you can do a fantasy, dwarves and elves with this game too, whatever you want to do. This book does not cover specific alien or fantasy races, but you may find an assortment in Castles and Crusades, the Codex Monstrorum, and in our various genre books. Okay, so when the Codex Monstrorum comes out, that's going to be for this. I don't have all the stuff we need. So the character classes, there's Acrobat. I'm also assuming with this game, if you want to make up your own character class, you can work on the DM about that, because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's the Arcanist, a modern day spell slinger. There's 2 spell systems in this book, like I just said. There's a modern spell system and then a fantasy, more medieval spell system. Demon Hunter, modern day paladin, vampire slayer, a duelist, a feral, a character raised in the wilds by wolves or apes, Tarzan, gunslinger, a hooligan, investigator. When we make our character, I believe I'm going to make an investigator. A mentalist, that's a psionic power person, pirate, powered, so basically a superhero. A pugilist, a raider, a tomb delving archaeologist or an adventuring explorer, out to plumb the unknown for lost treasures and lost knowledge. And this adventure I have is set in World War II era. So, that's a good character for that too, Raider. Socialite, someone with wealth and privilege. A soldier, a Zen archer. Okay, attributes are the usual: strength, dex, constitution, charisma, intelligence, and wisdom score. So characters are generated via a point by attribute system. At character generation, each attribute starts at 6, and the player begins with 45 points to spread amongst their ability scores. No single attribute can begin above 18. The Chronicle Keeper is within their right to limit players to only 1 score of 18. And then now here we have attribute modifiers, and it shows the attributes going all the way up to 30. So for like your superhero characters and your mutants and things, or maybe different races, you can get their stats higher. Okay. Primary and secondary attributes. So that is the siege engine. And if it's a primary attribute, when you're making a roll, if the skill is based on that attribute, the base is 12 or better. And if it's a secondary, the base is 18 or better. So you have your attribute modifiers you can use. You get a +1 per level if it's a class skill, and a +1 per level for saving throws, which are based on attributes. Let's see. Languages, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So here's all our character classes. Okay. Then we have, for chapter 2, this looks like it came off the GM screen there. This is a much better version. Yeah. Yeah, that's off the GM screen. Things like sacrificing advancement for new abilities. So generic class abilities. Arcanist, Mentalist, and Power Heroes. Arcanist and Mentalist especially have one major ability. New powers and spells that the player wishes. They can sacrifice a level of advancing a class to gain a generic class ability. Thus, when an Arcanist achieves a new level, they can forego that level's additional MEP and spells per day and instead select a generic class ability. That ability begins at level 1, and the Arcanist is now permanently one level behind in the spell progression. Permanently. Okay. The Mentalist can do the same. And then permanently, I don't really get that. But okay, here's a random generator for player characters. I guess you could use that for NPCs. Character qualities. So yeah, if you wanted to roll for character qualities, you could. And the qualities give a benefit and a drawback. So, example, dark-sighted. They're either trained to see in the dark, but they are less well adapted to what others consider normal light. Benefit and increases night vision by 1 level. If you don't normally have it, you receive dusk vision. Dusk vision in turn becomes twilight vision. Twilight vision becomes dark vision, and dark vision becomes deep vision. Okay, you suffer -1 on all attribute checks and combat rolls when in areas of bright light. Okay. So here it's got your wealth, and you get a wealth rating according to your class. The armor. We have different traditional armor, archaic weapons, black powder weapons, modern firearms. A lot of modern firearms. Vehicles. Vehicles for maneuver, vehicle weapons. Vehicle combat's supposed to be simplified in this game. They just give the vehicle stats, just like a player character. Sci-fi technology. Then we have magic. And there's sonic powers. And then here we have spells. We have spell tables for an intelligence-based caster, a wisdom-based caster, and then I think there's an arcane-based caster, a charisma-based character. Okay. So these are all spell descriptions here. Okay, then we have saving throws in our combat, fatigue and exhaustion. Your basic stuff. Okay, and a character sheet you can photocopy. But you can get one, fillable one, for free from TrollLords website. Okay, so that was a nice little flip through of that, and wrap around art on the cover. And now we'll flip through the Chronicle Keeper's Guide. This thing's too big, it's in my way. Okay. Let me see. So then it's got creating classes, creating new monsters, skill packages. So if you want to, like I said, if you want to do another kind of character class, that's probably what that's for. And then Chapter 2, the Occultist. Creating classes. Skill. I want to look at that, skill packages. Skills and amazing adventures are generally relegated to the background of knowledge is offered up as options in the player's handbook. Some tables, however, may value a more robust skill system. And for those, we all offer the following rules for skills in the Siege Engine. Additionally, skill options can be found in the Castles and Crusades Castle Keeper Guide. So here, it's got skills by their attribute. Learning new skills. At level 5, 10, 15, and 20, a character may choose a new skill if there's a very good in-game reason for doing so. Like something happens, or you could have your character background written up for, why your character should have these skills. And you can improve the skills. And here's all the different skills. For example, under Charisma, there's Acting, Convince, Impersonate, Public Speaking, and Sing. And then we have the skill descriptions. And the Occultist, Ritual, Attacking Spell, Expanding Sonics. Okay. Why is the Occultist? The Arcanist that's written forms the basis for an excellent addition to a game in the style of street superheroes, as many magazines of the golden and silver ages of comics would feature. When the game was built, the idea behind the character classes was that of customizable archetypes, which could be shaped within a broad, overarching theme to be whatever the player liked. Supreme sorcerers like this can, if played properly, be mysterious and threatening as both heroes and villains. However, spell-slinging wizards of a classic fantasy style don't always fit. In many horror and urban fantasy properties, magic takes on a more distinctly sinister nature, and here we look at ways to alter the Arcanist class to make it more Lovecraftian or Howardian in form. Using this variant, the Arcanist character class is renamed the Occultist. Okay. So, the core, the advancement table, hit dice, bonuses to hit, because you get a bonus to hit per level, all remain the same. The only thing that changes is the magic system and spells available. Okay. So, this whole chapter, this is all, this is going to be like a system for we'll call it an Arcanist subclass. campaign duels. Okay. So it's got explaining siege checks to the DM, simplified firearm rules, suppress firearms, tactical combat, rules for running and designing scenarios. So basically, siege checks with the Game Master, you know, normally you use 12 or 18, but, you know, he can set levels to make it easier, to give you a plus or a minus. Sample secret societies. So it's got all kinds of stuff to help the that's just a little quick flip through of that. So we're going to make a character, either a raider or an investigator, and see how that works out. And maybe if I get this dungeon here, I think this is part 3. Maybe if I get part 1 or 2, we could play this. This is for 3rd and 5th level, so I want to get the one to start off at 1st level. All right, please give us a like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.